Now, I've actually already mentioned this in the last couple talking point vids I did, and I really just want to reiterate my point and get this off my chest, but I've got a sneaky suspicion that NBA 2K22 Neighborhood and City is going to be the same. And like I said in past videos, 2K has a history in doing this, where they recycle parks, recycle neighborhoods, but is it always considered a bad thing? That's the question, because we tend to come out the gate pretty pissed off about it, but a couple years down the road, we regard those games as the best 2Ks, as if 2K put out the same parks or the same neighborhood with the intention of focusing on gameplay, as if to say that that 2K was what they meant to put out the previous year. If you go back to 2K14, which was the original next gen on PS4 or Xbox One, from 2K14 to 2K15, there were massive changes to the multiplayer. It was our first introduction to affiliations. We had the Old Town Flyers, Rivet City Rough Riders, Sunset Beach Ballers, and for the first time, you were able to scan your face. We had a new face scanning technology put into the game where you could scan your face and put your face on your My Player in the game. That was 2K15. That was our second next-gen title from 2K. But now we're coming up on our second next-gen title on the PS5 and the Series X. And the question is whether or not we're gonna see the same level of innovation. Well, as far as next-gen, I expect an updated city, but not really a new city experience. But as for current-gen, well, let's just take a trip down memory lane to 2K15 on the PS3 and 360. They didn't receive the same love and innovation that the next gen did for obvious reasons. In fact, 2K15 on PS3 360 had some of the lowest review scores ever for any 2K. Just do some research, it was like a 3.5 Metacritic. Everybody that played 2K15 on PS3 said it was horrible. While 2K was working on their second next gen title on 2K15 PS4, they didn't show a lot of love. There wasn't a whole lot of attention put on the current gen PS3 version. And that's primarily because their focus is on the next gen title. Now we're in the same situation. If the focus is on the next gen title, is the current gen version gonna get left behind? Well, technically there's a couple things working for the current gen version of 2K22. Well, one thing is the COVID pandemic. Because of COVID-19, there were less PS5s, less Xbox Series X's in production, so less people got it. Less than like 30% of the gaming community were able to go next gen, and even lesser of that percentage was actually playing NBA 2K next gen. The vast majority of the 2K community is on current gen, so this might force the 2K devs to focus harder on the current gen version, not just leave them hanging with a sad version of the game. Now, I've said this before, there's at least two things the 2K dev team could put into the current gen version to keep the current and next gen versions of the game on par with each other. Number one is bring back affiliations. So this way, if you're a Beast of the East on PS5, the guys on PS4 that are playing the current gen version can still relate to you. They can still support the Beast of the East some way, somehow, and still communicate with each other, especially for rival day weekends. We can all be on the same page. But at number two, of equal importance, if they added in the same My Player builder that we have on next gen to the current gen version, an updated version, not the same overpowered power forwards issues that we had on next gen, but an updated version of that, but the same. It's the same on current gen as it is on next gen. That would absolutely help the two communities stay relatable. And I'm talking about a My Player builder without the pie charts. Like next gen, we don't have pie charts. It's actually closer to how it was 2K15 to 2K17, where you can kind of balance out your player better. Now sure, lob posterizers, putback posterizers, bounce pass lobs, bounce pass lob posterizers, all that would be phenomenal as well. That's a gameplay related issue. 2K might not be able to implement that into the current gen version. They weren't able to do it for years, because really the hope for them to go back to affiliations on current gen in 1 year is kind of outlandish. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I believe that 2K could do it, but history just says that they haven't and they won't. And more than likely, it'll be the same neighborhood, 2K Beach all over again. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, especially for the sake of current gen, for the sake of the vast majority of the 2K fan base. But I've had this discussion with my boys on several occasions. Making new builds is one of the main reasons why we keep coming back. Even if we get kind of bored with the city or the neighborhood, making a new build gives us a fresh start and a reason to grind all over again. I was there when 2K17 dropped, and everyone was trashing it, saying it's the same park. These are the same parks, just reskinned with different colors. Old Town Flyers lags, and everybody was saying the game was trash. They can't believe 2K brought out the same parks all over again, because they didn't do that from 2K15 and 2K16, but here we are in 2K17 with the same parks. But today, 2K17 is kind of regarded as the best 2K ever. There's a lot of arguments for 2K16, and some of you guys can go even further back, but 2K17 is still considered one of the best 2Ks ever. So the same neighborhood or the same city might not necessarily ruin the game as long as gameplay and functionality work, and they bring us an updated functional My Player Builder that can be shared on both consoles. You guys already know how I feel about gameplay and functionality. Like, that's the most important thing, obviously. But if the game is playable and you guys are enjoying the overall gameplay experience, the My Player Builder is going to increase the longevity. It's no longer just the grind to Legend, because not everybody's going to hit Legend. New builds are like new guns that get released in Call of Duty or new skins in Fortnite. Only we have to grind our characters to make them useful. Sometimes making a new build improves your gameplay. There's always that time where you make a build, like your first build, sometimes you feel like it's trash. You actually got a lot better on your second and third build. Now that can also come with time and practice with the game, of course. But most of the guys I run with now are not running with their first build anymore. They're running with their second, third, fourth, fifth build. I know you guys saw LeBron James as a new skin on Fortnite, and it just made me think, like, look how they're trying to make me come back to play Fortnite. Like, I wouldn't mind purchasing that skin and just running around as LeBron James. The closest we come to that sort of feeling of getting a new skin in the 2K community is these new builds. That's why new build videos work really well. People are always experimenting and trying something different. And people want to make sure that their second build that they invest a lot of money and time into is actually going to be a phenomenal build that caters to their playstyle and lets them feel a little bit overpowered at times. Sometimes you want to feel like a demigod here and there. Now I'm just going to run through some of the improvements that 2K has to make in order to make the My Player Builder official for next gen and current gen, basically learning from some of the mistakes they made for the next gen version. Currently, PG sacrifice the most. We need improvements to the Hall of Fame quick first step. Why do power forwards get it with like an 80 ball handle, but a PG has to get it with a 95 ball handle? Some of those attribute points could have been put towards defense, but we had to put it towards your ball handle and your speed with ball in order to get Hall of Fame quick first step. Shooting guards were rare. We need improvements to defensive attribute points, and we need an increase to shooting badge count and physicals. I mean, some of the greatest players of all time were shooting guards. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, some of the most athletic players, Vince Carter. It doesn't really translate well to this year's My Player Builder. It's just better to make a power forward because he can do everything a shooting guard can do, but he also has the defense. Small forwards and power forwards got a lot more love, but we still need some improvements on interior defense and the ability to stop dunks, block dunks, interrupt dunks, shut it down somehow. You need to force small forwards and power forwards to reconsider high dribble ratings, put those attributes towards, strength and interior defense. This way, point guards and shooting guards can kind of rise up again. Now, I didn't really make a center, but coming from the community, I'm hearing from my guys, the centers are pretty good. Aside from the fact that people want rise up to really work. We don't want to see centers getting stopped by smaller guys in the paint, or at least guys that are making them go for layups when they should just be dunking the ball. So anyway, of the two things that 2K could do to make current gen feel like a new game, obviously adding in affiliations and a new My Player Builder, or the My Player Builder that we have on next gen. Of those two things, it seems like fixing the My Player Builder would be the easiest thing to do rather than adding in all the animations, new parks, new city, or whatever. That might be harder to do, but at the very least, the new My Player Builder would definitely be better for current gen, and obviously really good for next gen as well. If the focus was primarily on gameplay and functionality, I'm all for that too. I'm just like you guys that just want the game to work right. But at the same time, I'm just making my suggestion on what I think could increase the longevity of the game and hopefully make NBA 2K22 get the same love that we show to 2K17 in the past, even though it had the same neighborhood or same parks. We don't even know if that's really going to be the case for 2K22, but I got that sneaky suspicion. Anyways, your boy Shake. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, click that bell for notifications, join my Noti Squad so you can see when I drop these bangers, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So one of the the hottest topics for new games is whether or not that game is going to have crossplay, especially if it has multiplayer or co-op. We all want to know if whether or not you can play with your friends no matter the console, platform, or whatever. And rightfully so, because crossplay has become one of the biggest trends in the gaming community, especially for 2K. As far back as 2019, in anticipation for 2K20, we were asking for crossplay. Is that going to be in the game?